Welcome to Studio de Jeffrey. Today we have actual Cowboys news to talk about, which means that I'll broadcast. When there's nothing to talk about, I may not broadcast, but I appreciate everybody being here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody who watches on Twitch, Facebook, wherever. Today we have some Dalton Schultz news. Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz, who's playing under the franchise tag and is going to make about $11 million this year. Not too shabby. Decent little take-home pay. Schultz is going to no-show OTAs this week. Dun, 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 dun. Dalton Schultz said, "Nah, I'm good." Welcome, everybody who is joining up. Oh, dang, Jeremy's coming out hot. Trade Schultz. All right, we'll talk about Dalton Schultz here in just a second. Let me tell you that, of course, my broadcast is brought to you by my partners at BetOnline, who continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, sports developments, including this year's basketball championship finals. Boy, Golden State looked good last night. The NHL hockey conference finals, Major League Baseball, fighting news, even next season's NFL futures. You want to bet all your money on the Cowboys to win the division, unless the Eagles win it. Head to the website or use your mobile device. Sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Ninja says, not worth it. Never should have franchised him. Damn. Soto Man says, nice haircut. See, I think it looks dumb. Thanks. I have less hair, but it feels poofy. So, yeah, Dalton Schultz is going to get $10.9 million this year on the franchise tag. And when they initially tagged him, guess what? The story that they told was, yep, and they're going to franchise tag Dalton Schultz so that they can work out a long-term deal. And right here, I told you, I don't think so. I think they realized they had the space. They wanted Dalton Schultz for one more year. They wanted to draft the next guy that was going to play tight end for him. And then they drafted Jake Ferguson in the 4th round. So here's the rules. We got rules around here. Should have signed him instead of Blake Jarwin. That's a fair point. But you also didn't know that Blake Jarwin was going to have a likely career-ending deal happen. Here's the deal. 2 perspectives, ladies and gentlemen. The team perspective. The team goes, hey, wait a minute. We're getting you $11 million to play football for 1 year. That's pretty darn good for you, Dalton Schultz. You should be at OTAs. And then there's the Dalton Schultz side of it, which is, hey, you tagged me, which means I don't get to be on the open market, and I would like as much long-term security as I can get. Give me a contract. And so what do you do in that scenario? What you do in that scenario is you don't go to something that's voluntary. The tweet from Tom Pelissero, frustrated by the state of contract talks, Cowboys franchise tagged Dalton Schultz, informed the team he won't attend the rest of voluntary OTAs, per sources. Already signed his franchise tender, locking in $10.93 million salary for 2022, if no deal by July 15th. So, guess what? It's no big deal. For a week of voluntary OTAs, your starting tight end isn't going to be there. So, it's not a big deal. You use the leverage you can to try to get what you want. Dalton Schultz is using the leverage that he can to try to get what he wants. And come July 15th and come mandatory mini camps, your tight end will be at practice. Because if not, it starts to cost you money. This doesn't cost him any money. So it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And my guess is still that they're not going to get a long-term deal done. And that a year from now, Jake Ferguson will probably be the starting tight end. And if that's what happens, you know what you hope for? You hope that Dalton Schultz has a monster year. Because it's all about the comp picks, baby. And this could be a good thing. Your 4th round pick is just going to get more reps. You think Dalton Schultz needs a bunch of voluntary OTA reps right now? No. Let him stream like me. Let him play some video games. Let him have fun. He'll be fine. Dalton Schultz is going to be fine. Does any middle-of-the-road tight end 2 from any of the other 31 teams have the same production as Schultz last year in the Cowboys' offensive scheme? I think that's going a little bit far. The Dalton Schultz thing is just like everything else in sports where it gets really exaggerated on whichever side you believe. Dalton Schultz is a good starting tight end. Good starting tight end. Quarterback trusts him. Quarterback has a rapport with him. He's not a Bigfoot tight end. Like, he's not George Kittle, Travis Kelce, whatever. And he's not a run away from you tight end. But he's good. Good works. Hopefully Jake Ferguson's good. And then they think that a year from now they can move on with that. Or maybe they will get a long-term deal with Schultz done. The thing is that the Cowboys have no incentive to get a long-term deal with Schultz done unless they do absolutely love him and want him for the next 5 years. Because when you're getting long-term deals done, a lot of it is because you want to knock their cap number down for that year so that you can sign other players. Cowboys don't need to. They got rid of dudes who made a bunch of money. They got a bunch of cap space. They ain't doing nothing with it. They don't need cap space. Easy to replace. He's a good starter, but not worth big money. That could be totally fair. Whose auto is on that baseball? Sorry, off topic. Hold on. Let me see which baseball it is. Which side of it is me on? Which over there? That would be a Michael Young autographed baseball. Dalton couldn't block a pop-up ad. Dalton blocks better than people give him credit for. He doesn't block really good in space, but he's fine as a run blocker. What happened to Dallas radio with the guys? You're no longer on the show. Yeah, I quit. Kind of related to Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz would like to get a deal done, so Dalton Schultz isn't going to show up. Jeff didn't like the deal offered. Jeff quit. So I guess I'm on Team Dalton Schultz. Do what you got to do for you, homies. Know your worth, know your value. Oh, went to an ad as you turned around. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're on Twitch and it went to an ad, it's a Michael Young autographed baseball. Will Dalton show up for a 1-year tag? Yes. That's the difference. If you could skip work because they said, hey, man, you don't have to come in on Monday, but it'd be really cool if you did, and you knew you were the best at your job, you might not show up. But if it's when it stops being voluntary and Jacob, yes, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. Sorry, Ginger Hulk. Michael Young is the answer. The baseball is Michael Young. Autographed bobblehead is Michael Young. I'm happy for you quitting. You weren't allowed to be the same person when BS left. I'm having a lot of fun on the days I go work with Ben and Skin. That's great. It's like freedom. So outside of Dalton Schultz, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? He's not going to be there this week. Whatever. He's trying to get his money. The Cowboys are probably fake negotiating with him, seeing if he'll give him a massive discount. But I told you guys on the day that they tagged him, I don't think this is long-term. I think this is a tag, play it out, and we're going to draft your replacement. And sure enough, in the mid-rounds, I believe they might have drafted his replacement. Are you worried about our corners besides Diggs? I'm not worried about the corners besides Diggs. But like a lot of the Cowboys roster, it's just not something that gets you super excited. The receiving core on paper downgraded, but I think CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Jalen Tolbert or James Washington is fine. The defensive line is fine. The cornerback group is fine. But man, wouldn't you really like to have a bunch of position groups that you point at and go, hell yeah, brother. That's what you got to deal with. For the Cowboys, all that you have that does that is Micah Parsons, sort of tank. Diggs, maybe. They really need that offensive line to come together. Fine, don't cut it. That is the problem. It's hard to pick them to win the Super Bowl. It's not hard to pick them to win the East because you got the best quarterback. Would we get a comp pick for Gregory even though we signed a player in free agency to replacement Fowler? Yes, because Randy Gregory got a much bigger contract, and that's the way it works. If you get a huge contract, that's a third-round pick. If you get a fairly big, I always wondered what the ballpark pay scale is for the fan guys. Under, over. Depends who you are. But for me, the answer with endorsements was over. But still, if you're not happy and you know you can do better, you go do better. Anthony, I can't turn my head around Brown and Jordan. I play good once a year. Nobody knows about Joseph. I don't worry about Deshaun Wright because I don't have a ton of faith. 6'4" corners terrify me. I don't have a lot of faith that he's going to be an NFL starter, but you're thinking you have 4 capable NFL starters at corner. Anthony Brown was fine last year. At worst, he was fine. Diggs was great. Lewis was okay. Joseph, when he got to play, was okay. If you got 4 starting caliber corners, you're not in terrible shape. You all right. Jacob, who says no? Pats or Cowboys for a Tristan Hill and N'Keal Harry trade? I'd say yes to that. And I don't think N'Keal Harry's any good. College wide receivers who can't separate tend to struggle in the NFL. It's amazing to me that teams keep drafting them so highly. But the Patriots are also not a very good drafting team. They're a good team building team outside of the draft, but they are not a very good drafting team. I think N'Keal Harry would be your 4th or 5th best wide receiver. Would you have taken a shot at Akeem Hicks, or is this just a developmental year? I would have taken a shot at Akeem Hicks. That changes your defensive line. As it is, you're banking on Neville Gallimore keeps progressing, Osa takes a jump, and then you have a good defensive tackle group. But as it stands now, like a lot of the roster, I think the defensive tackle group is, oh, that's okay. Your edge group, unless you count Parsons, is Tank's good. Other side, maybe there's a starter over there somewhere. They need to win, too. You got rid of LC and Amari on purpose. Do you think we're done shopping this offseason? For guys that matter, most likely. Because the only places, well, there's a couple of things you could do. If you're the Cowboys, you could sign a proven offensive swing tackle as a backup. If you don't want to bank on Josh Ball and Matt Waletzko, or maybe Tyler Smith is already your backup left tackle. You could sign a linebacker, but Jaron Kearse plays some linebacker. Van Der Esch and hopefully Jabril Cox should be fine. You could add a wide receiver, but I don't think that makes sense for them because I think that they are set. I think it's just a matter of navigating the first couple of weeks of the season without Gallup, and then you've got CD, Gallup, and then Tolbert and or Washington. That's okay. I wish I felt better about whoever the third receiver is going to be, but I do like Jalen Tolbert. I think he's going to turn into an NFL starter. So that should be okay. Nothing they've done would change the 49ers game plan if they play tomorrow, run it down their throats. Yeah, but the 49ers didn't blow you out. What you would hope would change if you played the 49ers again is that your quarterback wouldn't be where he was. Between shattered ankle, calf strain, shoulder in the preseason, Dak wasn't the same the second half of the year. Your hope would be that Dak is back and better, and that helps your offensive line, and that helps your running game, and on and on and on and on and on. That would be the hope on how you're going to beat the 49ers. All right, team. I think I'm good. I think I'm good for the day. Me and my new hair. Am I crazy for not being as scared of Tampa as I was last year? No Godwin likely week 1. Diggs played well against Evans last year, and Dak when healthy can produce. You would be scared of anybody. Cowboys could beat Tampa. You just have to remember the Cowboys of the first 6 weeks last season. That was what you believe they can be offensively when the quarterback is feeling fine, is what they did the first 6 weeks. Second half of the year, quarterback was messed up. Jeff, what do you think of Stranger Things? Loved it. Because I'm fun employed, I watched season 3 and 4 over the last week or so. Really liked it. It's quite good. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube later, could you leave in the comments what you do on a weekday when you don't have much to do? Tuesday nights, I got volleyball. But outside of that, I got to figure out what to do with time. It's a challenge. All right, team. I love you. Remember that this show is presented by Bet Online. Any of them books behind you must reads, all of them. This is This is the Jack Reacher series by Lee Child. This is John Sanford, who does detective fiction. I like the Virgil Flowers series the best, but it starts with the Lucas Davenport series. This is Game of Thrones. This is it's Robert Jordan. What is that? Oh, that's the really long, like 20 book series. Come on, I forgot. That is the Last Kingdom stuff. Shannara series or Shannara. Tolkien. And then there's Brandon Sanderson over here. Fantasy stuff like that. It's ironic how you always find excuses for Dak, but Zeke with APC tear in his leg, you throw down the drain. Oh, I didn't know that the Cowboys had a quarterback who for 3 years had been outperforming Dak, because they do have a backup running back who's been doing that. Not going to tell us why you really left G-Bag? I thought that would be clear by now. I didn't like the contract offer. I knew I could do enough online to be good, and I knew other people would want me. So if I want to do radio again, I'll do it in a way that I find fun. I no longer found that fun. So, yeah. Anyway, rock and roll. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everyone. I love you.